Dude, is Holden like making water? Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Just a reminder that this is a podcast for people with open ears and an open mind. So if you forgot either of those at home today, I suggest you find something else to listen to. Just a couple housekeeping things before we start. I'd like to announce that we are live on Spotify, so you guys can check us out there as well. And if you're listening on there, you can check us out on YouTube. Other than that, this is the first time we have all the boys in the studio together. It's exciting.
Studio.
Yeah, in the studio, you know. Um, so other than that, let's just dive on in. Today we're going to talk about kneeling in the NFL. Um, kind of just
And other
lead off of another pressing issues, but leading into that, we're just gonna kind of keep with like factual things and throw our opinions in there. I have some prior research about some things I'm gonna talk about. But other than that, let's just go ahead and get started. First thing that I looked into, because I wasn't knowledgeable about it beforehand, was just like if there were any pre-standing laws or traditions against kneeling for the national anthem. Um, so basically, what I got out of it was that there is a section of U.S. code. If any of you guys really feel like diving into that, you can look it up. But I have it quoted down that it states that, well, first off, it states that it is required that all military members stand for the national anthem, hand over heart, just like, it typically is. Um, Other than that, it says that, quote for quote, all other persons present should face the flag and stand at attention with their right hand over their heart. With that being said, the big thing about it is that it says should. And in legal talks, should isn't a legally binding word. So no one is obligated to do anything other than if you're a military member. No one's legally obligated to do anything for the flag.
I think, oh shit, I don't know.
I guess
mean,
it's
everybody's
And this started back in 2016. And September 1st, 2016 was his first time he had used kneeling as a form of protest.
well, and to dive into that, the NFL, they do have a
They just mishandled it from the beginning, and
Well,
we're
yeah,
still seeing it from 4 years later.
Well, originally at that time, prior to anything with Kaepernick kneeling and whatnot, the NFL did have a standing rule that said that all players must do what that said, but use like better verbiage with it. But there had been incidences before that they just didn't really do anything about. Kind of like the Kaepernick thing. They mishandled it, but initially, like, they didn't really do anything about it.
Yeah, they kind of allowed the fan base to. They kind of took over on a way they felt about it, and then you had other teams. I think in one case, one of the years, the Steelers team, they all stayed in the locker room, and they had a veteran on the team, and he stood out with his hand over his chest.
And I guess that's the one thing for me is between like players on the team is, whatever anybody wants to do, I'll support. Like, I'm there to watch football. Between whistle to whistle, I don't really care what you do. I'm all for like supporting what you believe in. I'm not saying that I disagree with what they're doing, but the way I see, like, you're talking about Alejandro Villanueva. He is a ex-military guy. He served, I think, 2 tours, right? Does that sound right, Devin?
Like that, yeah.
I guess just the way I look at it, like, he obviously has an assload of pride in the country.
Yeah.
So, and I high respect for all military men.
But I would think him and most military, I don't want to speak for anybody, but like they would, they fight for our rights and the rights of themselves and stuff when they go overseas and things like that. So I think they would understand, that's just a way of someone expressing their rights. They're not, like, he had no intention of disrespecting the flag or anything the flag stood for.
If he wanted to disrespect the flag, it would have been blatantly been able to be like told.
Stomped on the flag or fucking.
Like he's not like he knelt, like he still like.
Like, it's not like he wanted to
he did everything but stand.
Yeah, If he
You
wanted to
know,
show
like
disrespect, I can think of 35 other things that he could have done
Yeah.
that would have showed disrespect.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he originally sit for the anthem, and
Yeah.
then that caused
Yeah.
a bunch of uproar, and then he
Well,
actually got in contact with somebody
there
that
was a
he,
veteran on the
that.
team
yeah, he,
Oh yeah,
well,
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
and
that told him it would be
mhm.
more. What you go
Like
Or-
ahead.
he said that he thought it would be more respectful to kneel rather than sit. He said that sitting would be more disrespectful than kneeling.
Something
So
did Tim Tebow when he kneeled. Did he ever kneel during the anthem, or was that just like after games, before games? Like,
I don't
I
know if he
mean,
ever did it during the anthem or not.
I just know he kneeled before the games. But
Yeah,
that, I mean, it got blown up, but in a positive way. You know,
yeah.
they were like, "Oh, he's praying to God."
I mean, there was some negative stuff too about. I mean, there's always gonna be positive,
Yeah,
negative shit, but it was
for sure.
definitely way more leaning towards the positives with him.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was doing it for different reasons, but at the same
Mhm.
time, at the core basis of it, they're doing an action to support something that they believe in. So what's
Yeah.
the difference, honestly?
Spread positivity and
hmm
hope, or I
Yeah,
don't know.
it doesn't have to be specific. It's just something you believe in. So like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um, so basically back to what I was saying though about like what the rules are, quote
Mhm.
unquote. Basically with them stating that it should, like, people should do those things, is that even if they tried to legally enforce it in any way, um and this was the quote that, or the article that I read that I got this part from, was a Harvard law professor. So if anyone has a higher standing than that out there, correct me if I'm wrong. But he said that even if they tried forcing legal action on it, that the First Amendment would knock
Protect
that
it.
out. Yeah. And before reading that, I had thought those same thoughts, that it's a First Amendment right, freedom of speech. But
Mhm.
I guess hearing it from a Harvard law, whatever, I don't know if it was a professor or just a Harvard graduate or whatever, but um, basically that person said that it boiled down to, it indicates just a recommendation. It's not a rule or tradition that people should follow or anything like that.
And kind of a different topic, but same thing. I think we hit on this point earlier, but it kind of reminds me of the whole LeBron and the whole shut up and dribble thing. Like, these players, you know, you always get them people telling them to shut up. You're just an athlete. You're an entertainer. You know, entertain. But if anything, they're more from our backgrounds and have more of a come up than a lot of these politicians and things. And they have, you know, why not, if you have a platform and able to reach a whole bunch of people, and you have a following, why not try to spread a positive message?
And kids
that's
are
what I
paying
feel
more
like.
attention to these athletes than
Yes,
they ever will politicians or anybody. So
exactly.
like
Whether
LeBron or anybody or just any athlete they're loved by millions of people. And that's why people get so mad when they, you know, either it goes against their opinions or they do something bad off the field or on the field, and it affects a lot more than just themselves.
the way I look at
They're a
it
role
is
model.
like these athletes. It's more than just athletes. Like anyone in like
A
any
public
celebrity,
figure.
public
yeah,
figure.
Has a
a public
spotlight.
figure. Yeah, that's the right words I was going to say. I, knowing me, before I cared anything about politics, what the heck just happened?
You're still recording. You're good.
My computer screen just went black. Okay, here we are, back again. Anyhow, technical difficulty. I thought I just died here. It's like someone really doesn't like what I'm saying, but anyhow, what was I even? Oh, people just with the public like platform, whatnot. I don't know what's going on. I might still get. I don't know. Anyhow, I had a little loading thing by my cursor. Anyhow, um, basically the way I look at it is like, before I was into politics, not that I am now, but like knew anything about them, I did follow people that had like public eyes and had like that voiced their opinions, and not even their opinions, just I follow them, I listen to them,
Music
and
artists,
yeah,
celebrities.
yeah, yeah, and it's more than just political things, just anything that they say. Um, it's just they're in the public eye, and so anything that they say is going to be taken positively or negatively anyhow. I just compared to politicians, like, I don't know, we all have C-SPAN on our cable. Has anyone actually
No.
flipped to that on a purpose? Yeah, I've definitely watched MTV or CMT or the Food Network more than I have C-SPAN. Like, the way I look at it is kids that aren't like, and not even just kids, like, I still, I support and listen to people that aren't
I
in
feel like
politics that
there's
have an opinion.
probably a bigger part of the population that watches football or any other kind of sport than the news or keep up with just even local issues in your city or county.
Yeah, not many people can tell you the happenings, I'm sure, but everybody can tell you what happened at the game last night. So
yeah. Even at the local point, we come from small town USA. Oh, everybody knows who won the fucking home football game last night.
Everybody knows those things, but not everybody knows solid depth knowledge about politics.
They know what Sally did last weekend with her fucking boyfriend or whatever. But
what?
I don't fucking know.
I guess just everybody pays attention and knows those things. But then when it just boils down to differing opinions and then you're going to exploit them in a negative way. I just specifically LeBron James, because I feel like he for no reason, because he's been doing just as, not like downplaying what he's done, because he's done a lot, but not like, he's just, I feel like he's been under fire. Like, he's been the new Kaepernick these last couple of years, it seems like. And he just keeps getting repeatedly bashed. And it's just like, there are other guys doing the exact same thing as him,
because he's just on he's always been, even the way he plays has been held at such a higher standard than everybody else.
It's, the other thing is too, like,
because he's been one of the most perfect people, and I don't know like how to say it. He's never had any issues with crime or he was handed millions and millions of dollars as a poor black kid from Akron and never had any issues with drugs, alcohol, or just any of the sorts.
Yeah, I just
still with his high school sweetheart, but the man in front of our country who has 3 baby mamas and 5 kids is a saint.
The thing is, I look at it too, is I feel like a lot of the stuff that gets brought into the, well, at least that I see brought into the public eye as negative, is stuff that he says on his Twitter account. And the rebuttal I have for that is, who also has a very active Twitter account? The president of the United States. Well, no, the president of the United States. And no one tells him to shut up and sign paperwork.
Like, oh God, and just yeah.
I just, the way I look
and
at
what
it
he's
is,
saying now, I don't even want to dive into this because I enough politics from the last 2 times. But holy fuck, with his, we might have to do a whole thing about this. But the way he's handling COVID and the way the White House is pressing it, and the fact that nobody knows nothing about how serious or not serious he is, and whether who he spread it to.
Yeah.
But anyways,
and I guess to dive back into the kneeling thing, I just had just like mini history segment.
Well, and like we said,
well, no, you're good to go.
I was like gonna say, like, this isn't their first issue they've had.
Yeah,
just recently before this, or around the same time, was the concussion protocols and CTE and the whole new just like, how long before football is gone in a sense?
Yeah.
Like, is there a way we can continue to make it safer that it, like,
well, with that being said, I feel like every single episode that we've recorded now, I brought up a Joe Rogan podcast, but here we're back at it again. The Miley Cyrus podcast he just did like a month ago. She brought up about how her therapist specializes in these brain scans. And apparently when she was younger, I won't get into the details of that, but apparently when she was younger, like real little, like baby, she had a head injury. And basically on the brain scans that she still does today, you can tell where the injury was. Like, it was in the back of her head. And they were just talking about how those like injuries that they have, and just little things too, can,
when it's repetitive blows, repetitive head trauma to an important, what makes us human is our brain, if anything.
Well, they were just talking about how like little things can change so much. and they talked about, well, specifically it talked about Roseanne. And
Mhm.
I didn't know this, but Roseanne apparently at 15 got hit by a car. And apparently before
Okay.
then she was like a math genius. Like could just she was super smart. Everybody knew she was super smart. Like she was like anyhow,
Just brilliant.
after her accident, she couldn't even like add numbers together. And she turned into
Mhm.
like this wild, crazy child, and then eventually just developed into the Roseanne like we all know.
Mhm.
And I guess it's just thinking about just that little like I don't know how traumatic like Roseanne's car accident was with Miley's incident. Like at that young age, I'm sure it's pretty traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I know these guys are wearing helmets, but at the same time, some of it, like some of these hits that you see them guys taking, it's just like when you are on
How
the
do they get
couch,
back up?
when you're on the couch and you go, "Ooh,
Mm.
how the
Yeah.
hell do you think they feel?" And it's
You've
just one
got
of those deals
350
like,
pound men
mhm.
running 10, 15 miles an hour at each other, just smashing into each other.
And the way I look at it is just like
The
they,
human body isn't made for that.
well, they'll, you get smacked and you get hit, and these guys pop right back up, and it's just like, oh, he can walk. Well, fuck, he can hold a football.
Is he
Like
going to
I
be able to
just,
walk in 10 years? Is
not
he going to have
even
the
10
same brain
years.
capacity? We've
Well,
seen like
there's,
what happened with Antonio Brown. Is that a
hmm
case of CTE, or is the dude just crazy? Or is he
yeah,
crazy because of the CTE?
hmm
Mm.
Or in the
it's,
cases of just boxing and MMA fighters, what they go through, kind of the same, just multiple head traumas.
hmm Well, I just with bringing up MMA fighters, Conor McGregor, like,
Mhm.
has he always been as crazy as he is, or is that something that developed? Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, is that something that, like, how he acts? And I'm not saying that, like, I like Conor McGregor, but
Yeah.
I just is the way he acts brought on because of his history.
Well, didn't like Muhammad Ali, or was it George Foreman, developed very serious Parkinson's after he had no, yeah, it was Muhammad Ali developed very serious Parkinson's after he retired from professional
hmm
boxing.
Well,
And it's
and
just like,
with Parkinson's, because I know a decent amount about it,
is
because
that
my
genetic?
grandpa had it. Well, my grandpa had it.
Hmm.
It's I'm not sure if it's genetic or not. They honestly don't even know that much about it,
Hmm.
at least from my knowledge. I could be wrong, but from what I know about it is they don't really have a whole lot of knowledge about it. But like just with not to get into a span, just talking about Parkinson's, but like
Yeah.
it's like I don't know how to describe it, like glitches with nerves in the brain, like misfiring in a way.
Hmm.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows if you know about Parkinson's, you know people with Parkinson's shake. And that's what
Yeah.
that is. It's like the misfiring of nerves in the brain
It's a
caused
nervous
by,
system issue.
yeah. And like with my grandpa, like there was some weird things like he struggled to walk through doorways. Not like physically walking. It was like
Hmm.
he was like
A
nervous to
mental
walk through
block.
doorways. Like he'd get to a doorway and he'd have to wait. Like it wasn't always like this, but like on his bad
Hmm.
days, he would have to wait like longer than I waited to walk through a damn door. Like I just and I don't know what that thing is too. He always had a lot of balance issues.
Hmm.
And I know like for him the reason why because he had it for 30 years, which is
Okay.
a lot for
Yeah.
with
Damn.
well yeah, a lot of people. Well, and the thing is with that was he had always been, because he was in the army, he had always been
Hmm.
pretty like fit.
Yeah.
And once he got it, he went to, I have no idea what it was as a kid, they just called it the club. I have no idea what it was, but he went there and he did a lot of like exercises, like stretchy band exercises and stuff.
Hmm.
And I know that they said that that's like one of the main reasons why he was able to be as good as he was for so long,
Mobile.
because because he
Worked
had
on
so
those
much
joints and
strength.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as tying that into what you said is Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I
it's just, do you think he's got any kind of, I don't want to like talk about,
I
like
guess
mental trauma in the military or something like that?
the way I look at it is like maybe my grandpa just got it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I feel like it's hard
The
to
same
say
way, like
that.
I can't think of the word, but like a carcinogen, it plays a factor in you getting that
hmm
disease.
Well, I
Yeah.
Like,
just I think it'd be hard to say that his history didn't. I'm talking about Muhammad Ali. Like his history
yeah.
didn't have a factor in that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his history didn't lead to him getting it, but maybe his history is what like caused him issues with it
Yeah.
as far as like brain functioning wise go.
Mhm.
Um
And maybe this sounds a little like out of water, or I don't even know how to explain it, but just kind of like tying in like the way with COVID and how you safety precautions. I don't know if either of you have watched like Real Steel, if you know what that
Hey,
movie.
Real Steel, the one with what's his name?
Hugh Jackman and
Hugh
like
Jackman
they.
and that. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like, who's to say that we don't form some kind of society that way? We get tired of, because if you think about it, like men fighting in a boxing ring, like that's kind of like gladiator days. Like that's just kind of like a more modern
mhm.
version of
Hmm.
fucking gladiators and people killing each other. I mean, they're beating the shit out of each other, just not to the death anymore.
I don't know. The other thing is too, just to throw another viewpoint into the mix, is that like these athletes in all different sports, because honestly, all sports, you're prone
Mhm.
to injuries, whether they
Hmm.
be head or not. But um, one argument that I guess you could have is that these guys like know what they're getting into, but at the same time, like you see it time and time again, especially like I know a lot about football, so I'm sure it happens in other
Mhm.
sports too, but
Hmm.
a lot of these guys is all they have is football. Like they wouldn't be like, as far as like a career standpoints go, like these guys, if especially like at maybe not a professional level, but guys might not have been able to go to college and get the education that they get if they didn't have football, if they didn't play the
Mhm.
sport. And bringing it into like the professional thing, you see guys, it is way more common than not, guys leave college early to go to the NFL draft.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And part of it I guess is just making the choice that
That
football is
opportunity.
well, like football
Football.
is what you want. Like
Mhm.
you decide that the education isn't what isn't what you want.
Yeah.
But I guess the way I see it is like it's hard for them to decide on other options when maybe they don't come from the background that a lot of other people are fortunate to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
I guess it's just one of those deals that. Oh, okay. Did you guys all get that
Yeah.
notification? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I totally like lost track of what the fuck you were saying.
Yeah, me too.
I'm but
Um,
I'm very fucking high. But just talking about the fucking NFL in general. But like, and kind of what I was trying to say about like Real Steel and shit, it's makes me think about that as like the rise of esports and just that and streaming and tying COVID into that is like, well, we're seeing like Steelers and Titans game postponed because of a COVID outbreak,
mhm,
and then you see Cam Newton gets it, and now Stephon Gilmore has it, as they were just all playing the Chiefs
mhm.
last
And
night.
we had talked about that before that game. How the hell can just one player have it? That's it. Like just one.
Yeah, it
Like
had to
that's it.
come from someone else with all the protocols that they're following. I imagine that only
Mhm.
so many people or certain people every time are or entering facilities and are on the field and shit like that.
Hmm.
And it's
They
just
they
like,
shouldn't they
And they
shouldn't have played
have
that game.
they
no.
have like the like, not saying like sports are important, I don't really know where I stand on like the whole sports should be canceled, because it does bring in a lot of money for, I guess, it's entertainment, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But like, they're not 6 feet apart on that field.
They're on
Most times
top of
they're
each other,
not. Yeah,
sweating on each
yeah.
other, spitting and blood all over each other.
Yeah, like,
That's just the way it is.
I mean, COVID or not, it's already a fucking
Disgusting
ancestral
sport.
field. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Cesspool.
yeah. Like you get out of a game, like how much you're wet, how much of that sweat is actually yours. Like
No shit.
you know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, and that's our. Like, I mean, that's just nasty. But like at
And
the
you're
same
breathing on
time,
each other
like,
the whole time.
hmm I just, I mean, it's hard for me to like. It's not hard, but like it's like I love football and I love watching football and I'm glad
Mhm.
it's back. But at the same time, like, well, just like what we are talking about, if there's even like, I mean, there already is a chance that you're like it's already just gonna turn out bad. But if you know that someone on the team has it, like I just don't see how any logical reasoning
I give it
that you
three
would
more weeks and they
play.
have to cancel the season
I mean,
if the
it's
way it's
already
going
just
now.
climbing. Yeah, it started out
Or
as just a couple people, and then it got a couple more people, and then
the fact that they're
the
canceling
team,
games just
yeah, if you,
shows
it
enough.
cannot be a week by week thing.
But
Yeah,
I
Like,
it's
guess
you know what I mean?
the
Like,
MLB had like an outbreak earlier in their season, then they got it under control supposedly.
yeah,
But I
but
mean, it's also the
that's a little
fact.
different than football. Like,
But
I know you're still on
the
top of each other, but
MLB wasn't throwing out fines for fucking coaching staffs and people not wearing masks either not at all or improperly. You know, the NFL has that issue
hmm
where like the NBA really doesn't have that issue. Any other sport that's going on right now doesn't have that issue.
I
Obviously,
just
different
with
circumstances. They're in a bubble,
yeah, with the
but
NBA, like I just the way that they handled things, and like did them, that was like pretty, like I feel like that was the best way to like handle the situation. But obviously it's kind of hard for like a whole ass football team to do
but go
that.
to the go to set the games up. Everybody's together in a
hmm
bubble. Don't they have all the practice fields in like Florida? Just play on the practice fields.
I don't,
Have everybody together
yeah,
and or like well they did at Disneyland in the bubble for NBA. If you want to keep it, they built fucking basketball courts in Disneyland. You know, if
yeah,
there's a will, there's a way.
yeah.
Can't continue to put people's health at risk. And
It's when what it comes down to, the way I see it at least, is with the NFL, like they could definitely figure out something to do.
hmm
It's just it would cost money, and they would
hmm
also lose money.
there's never
Like,
been a point
yeah.
where the NFL's made the best possible move.
hmm
Like just even with I don't know
well, like as
concussions and
far as
safety
like,
and
well, yeah, as like far as
they knew for
sports go,
years and years that there was possibilities of brain injuries and things like that. They just never said anything to the players. There's documentaries about it on
hmm
YouTube.
I just I don't know. It's one of those deals that's like they're either gonna have to make some kind of revolutionary breakthrough as far as helmets go, or
hmm
the football is gonna go.
Yeah. Well, in the last, I'm
Football's
looking
gonna
at the
go where
numbers
there's
now.
they're gonna make it so it's safer, but then everybody's gonna be bitching about it, how it's so boring. It's not even
hmm
hmm
It's like,
like
well, that sucks.
it's
But
not football anymore. That's a bunch of pussies out there on that field now. Like
but you're not the ones out on the field destroying yourself.
literally,
Mhm,
like
Like, and it's the same people bitching about Colin Kaepernick kneeling. Are you? Your ass is sitting on your couch when the
mhm.
national anthem is playing. You probably got a hat on. You're not sitting there respecting the
Yeah,
flag.
that's something else. Like all these
And it's
people,
not
are
like
you
you're
doing that?
protesting, or he's I don't know. He's not doing it just to do it.
hmm I know for a fact that I have.
I've never once sat or stood up. I'll admit
Yeah,
it. It's
I was just
just,
gonna say. I was like, I'll admit it. I've watched the national anthem being sung how countless times
is that
for
another rule
different
too? Like
events.
if
Yeah,
it's being streamed or
it's being
whatever,
streamed. Like yeah,
I've never once seen anybody on any social media platforms being like, "Hey, I stood for the national anthem on television today." Like I just
hmm
you don't see that, but you see everybody bitching that people are
didn't
kneeling,
do it in
people are
person.
showing support. Yeah.
What's the difference?
The thing that I hate too is um it's evolved from not them like not being mad about them kneeling, is their people are mad and pissed off that they're doing anything, because I feel
hmm
like especially this season there still is definitely a good handful of players
Like
kneeling,
when they did
but
the first game of the season, the Texans and Chiefs, they did that like moment of unity. No
mhm,
one kneeled, no one nothing. Everybody fucking held hands in the middle of the field to show unity, and people booed.
I was just
It
gonna
was
say
it was a
everybody also
message of
booed.
love.
hmm
Yeah,
and it's not and that's it's not like they're not kneeling. Like, what do you want them to do? Like, they're trying to be respectful and use their platform to share
and
a
they're still
positive
spreading a
message,
good
but
message. Yeah.
yeah. I had that conversation with my parents that whenever all of this was huge and whenever Kaepernick got the Nike brand deal and everyone was burning
hmm
their shit and whatever else, parents were bitching about it. I'm just like, well, if you don't want them kneeling, what do you want them doing?
How can we
Like
assess this
like kneeling
situation
during
that
the
we're in?
flag, like it's perfectly peaceful. Like
not
yeah, people
not
can see it as
yeah.
disrespectful, but
And then you're gonna bitch when people are out on the streets blocking the road, and we're gonna threaten to run protesters over
No, it's
yeah.
not just threaten; they actively do that
or shoot
too.
them.
So yeah,
But it's just
I
I don't understand why kneeling is seen as such like a disrespectful act whenever
mhm.
culture, like history wise, like you kneel in front, like you kneel in front of the king. You like it's a thing of respect.
Yeah. I
Like,
guess just
like even with like religion, like kneeling is like a big deal.
Or when someone gets injured on the field, guess what everybody does?
Kneel. It's a sign of respect. Like,
yeah. I guess just I had written down too. The final thing in my notes was that just like kind of like the history thing with it. So like obviously Kaepernick started it, but really quick after Kaepernick did it was
Eric Reed.
Eric Reed did it. He's coming, but actually the next person that did anything for it was Brandon Marshall, who at the time was linebacker for the Broncos. Who I don't even know if he plays anymore. I definitely just said anymore twice. Anyhow, he did it like pretty because Kaepernick started at the beginning of the preseason, and Brandon Marshall did it like pretty early on in the season, and then Eric
Move your
Reed
mic
joined in.
closer to your face.
Can you not hear me? Okay, I was worried because before everybody could hear me breathing, but anyhow, in the same season, so Brandon Marshall did it, Eric Reed, Marcus Peters, Devin McCourty, Martellus Bennett, and then towards the end of the season, I think it was like game like 11 or 12. Seahawks had a home game against the 49ers, and during the national anthem they all locked arms because Pete Carroll at the time had said that like he didn't want players kneeling but was all for them showing support for what they were supporting. That
It
just
was
sounded
more of
like
just
I
a
had no idea what was going on.
More of a blackballing of Kaepernick.
Yeah,
Just like,
but
they didn't. No team wanted to re-sign him because they knew the publicity. It would have been a big drama thing, that like who wants to deal with that? And you can't even put the blame on necessarily the teams to a point, just because like, I mean, they could lose money, they could lose fans. I mean, you don't want to, like, it just sucks for both sides.
Yeah,
in a way.
Well, the thing is about the only excuse that I'll give now is that it's been a while since he's played.
Racism.
Well, it's now he's a little bit older. Like the only thing I'll give is at the early on, nobody would give him a chance. Like, and that was the issue that I had. If
there was no Fats,
team,
you had like TJ Yates starting for the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Like, I got Colin Kaepernick sitting in free agency. Like, the fuck? Or Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Who's had success, but
brought a team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's like, so you're just going to
Joe Flacco's still playing as a backup. He did the same thing.
The thing is now, like, and I'm not saying it's still an excuse, but like a couple teams have given him chances. Like they've tried him out, and I'm not saying that the baggage, but I don't mean that in a negative way, like that he brings along with it had any influence. I'm not saying that didn't, because it definitely probably did, but now like I feel like he's been given a couple chances, not the chances that he deserves, but in a way, like now it's a little bit better than what it was originally, because nobody would even give him a look. Like, how can you? He was what year did they go to the Super Bowl?
Might be 12 or 13.
Yeah, and then 2016. So that's 3-4 years off of a Super Bowl. Like I don't know. And like you said, there were some garbage ass quarterbacks playing those couple years right after, like when that was happening and right after it happened. There were some garbage ass quarterbacks.
Like, I know Kaepernick had a few bad seasons starting, but who's to say if he has experience? He's a veteran.
We see that.
Everybody looks
all
for
the time.
A veteran QB.
Well, we see that all the time. Quarterbacks don't play and then they go to a different team. They get new coaching staff, new
just any player.
new offense, new atmosphere, better players, because 49ers sucked ass. Like the 49ers sucking ass was not Colin Kaepernick's
quick rebuild.
Yeah, like now obviously they've had some success, but at the time, like, them being ass wasn't Colin Kaepernick's fault. Like he had his issues, but
they're going through coaching changes and shit too.
Yeah. I don't know. What I was gonna say though was, like, after the Seahawks team did all that, that's when Trump made. I don't know if you guys remember this specifically, but it was kind of like a big turning point with it. He made his smart ass comments about like how, like, yeah, wouldn't you? It was something like, wouldn't you love if these NFL owners, through these, like, I don't know exactly how he, like, through these players, basically like kicked him off the team. Like, wouldn't you just love? And he said something about like they're sorry asses or something like that. And I feel like that's
feeding into already the negative public eye.
Yeah. I feel
that's
like
what he does.
that was just like first off the wrong thing to say, but can't
He's
stop
always
what he
saying the
says.
wrong thing.
It's just
Everybody's sitting here praising Trump for protecting our rights, but he's the one that's telling people, no, you're not allowed to protest. Like that,
Yeah.
literally Amendment 1. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it just doesn't make sense.
And I don't know. I guess that leads into we could talk about like the current season, like what they're doing with the current season.
Mhm.
I had written down that in the current season to date,
Oh.
almost 200 players have done something, whether it
Like
be kneeling.
criminal.
Well, no, like whether it be kneeling or like the unity thing, like we was talking about game one of this season,
Hmm.
or just anything like that. Almost 200 players have done that. The fields have it's Black Lives Matter, isn't it, on the fields?
Or it's some message. I'm not sure if it's Black Lives Matter, but it's like
Something they
I
have
don't
that
know.
on the fields, which I feel like that was a huge stepping stone because that that was the owners and the NFL like going in on it. It wasn't just like players deciding to do something.
Mhm.
Um, the helmets, they're on
They
the
say we must end racism.
we must end racism.
It
Okay,
takes all of us, and just other like
little slogans.
some of them say end racism. It takes all of us, but a good message.
Yeah,
They're making light of the
nothing
situation
negative.
or
Yeah,
whatever. But they
and
did it too late. They
yeah,
let
yeah,
so much hate brew up, and I don't know. Because it wasn't just the fact that Colin Kaepernick wasn't playing; it was the fact of what the fan base was saying, really, and just kind of how
yeah.
this all turned into like this. Honestly, it was kind of the start of like this civil movement we're going through. I feel
Hmm.
like that's when it finally like took off.
Yeah, it definitely like you can give all credit to Kaepernick for starting this. Like
I Yeah,
he definitely was like the
Mhm.
first, like one of the first. Well, he was like the first to really show.
use his
I don't know.
platform.
Yeah, yeah. Um, just to continue on with the current season, they're doing the helmets on the back of the helmets. They're
The names of
names. Well, they're doing more than names. I think some of them say end racism, but it's kind of like a personalized thing that
yeah.
players can choose to do. Um, and with that, I guess brings in, we talk about Villanueva, the Steelers offensive lineman again. He chose to, instead of show support towards a life that was lost, like for police brutality or whatever, he did like a soldier that died that he
Hmm.
knew. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know all the details about the story, but I know he chose to do that, which caused like I feel like a little uproar, but at the same time, it brings back to what we had talked about before. Like he, I don't know, not that he gets like a pass or whatever, but he can show it's just the same exact thing. He can show support for every which way he wants, and it's not that he hates black people or he doesn't want to support his teammates or whatever, but he's doing his own thing, and that's exactly what everyone
Hmm.
else is
Why
doing.
can't we
So
just
why
spread
can't he?
positive messages?
Yeah. Um, and or just this last week too, Zadarius Smith, outside linebacker for the Packers, he recorded a sack and then he pulled out like his like undershirt, and on
Hmm.
the front of it said "Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor." I think it had like her middle name too or something, but he like pulled that out and he like just that was like his sack celebration.
Yeah.
Um, I guess just seeing those things, like seeing it turn into like it's turned into one of those things that even in supporting of it, you don't look at it and you're like, ooh, like damn, like he's really going out there, like he's really like
Mhm.
he's doing something kind of nervy. Where now it's a
Hmm.
thing where I feel like it's come full circle, and it's not that
It's
people couldn't get,
normalized.
yeah, well, like not that people couldn't get behind it before, but now it's
Hmm.
kind of turned into one of those deals where it's like hell yeah, I'm gonna do that, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Here's a question. As far as all these players using their platforms, do we still think it's going to be as big as like a controversy after the election? I'm just curious what y'all think,
Mm.
or even
Like
after, because regardless of who
when
Depends
wins
what
this
happens.
election, regardless of true, but regardless of who wins this election, next election, I'm hoping to God there's fucking less drama. I mean,
I feel like if Trump wins again, it's all hell. Honestly, either way, this election is just gonna end in fucking streets on fire.
The
The way I see it, Trump's not gonna want to give up power, and they're not gonna want to give up power, and then the protests are gonna continue because nothing's changing if Trump gets reelected.
Yeah.
Not to say they will change if Biden gets elected either.
Yeah.
Honestly, like who the fuck knows?
The only positive with Trump winning would be that at a legal standpoint, he can't run again.
I mean, but he's. I mean, hopefully. Okay, I'm not gonna say that.
I don't know. It's kind of come down to I don't know. I'm not a huge Biden supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter, and it's just kind of come down to one of those deals where I guess it's just who's gonna fix what's going on right now.
Yeah.
We got COVID. We have the rallies and protests going on for the Black Lives Matter campaign. I guess it's just one of those deals where like whoever wins it, are they gonna fix those things? Because the way I see it is like.
Well, obviously we see Trump doesn't want to do that. I think I told you earlier. They stopped the talks on stimulus. They're saving that till after the election, but we're still going to talk about electing a new SCOTUS. But
the thing is,
it's power grab.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit about you and me. He just cares about his image and if he can get reelected.
Well, that's what he wants. The thing is too that
keep him and his buddies in power.
Like he shouldn't have to fix his America. Like if he should at the end of his 4-year presidency, he should have done something that he can be proud of.
What has he done?
Well, yeah, but the way I see it is just like he like what does he have, like not like his resume, but in a way it's just like what is he handing the next president, whether it's him or not? Like what is he handing the next president?
Obama had Obamacare. What does Trump have? I mean, I don't know. Like,
I guess it's just one of those deals where it's like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like at the end of your presidency, you should have done some shit. You should be able to just spit off things that actually matter that you've done. Like, I feel like Trump might have like 2 or 3 things, maybe a couple more, but then anything else that he says he's done is just a bunch of bullshit. Like, and obviously his America isn't good right now. Like, we're in the middle of a medical pandemic. We have all these rallies and protests that, not that they're positive or negative, but it's just, you need to fix what they're fighting for. Like, you need to, I don't know. It's just one of those deals where it's like, I don't know. Who's gonna fix it? And if Trump gets reelected, like, is he gonna fix it? Because if he doesn't, and it's gonna lead into another 4 years of bullshit, like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
I mean, I feel like that's one of the reasons why so many different people on other platforms are starting to speak up, because DC isn't doing shit. I mean, they're doing stuff, but I feel like it's just at a standstill. Like, nothing's progressing. It's still at a stalemate.
Think we'll ever have a civil war again?
I hope to God not, but
there's some kind of, I don't know. We almost are.
I feel like we're close to just kind of everyone split right down the middle, this side or that side. It seems like.
Well, I feel like the words, like I guess it's not a word because it's 2 words, but Civil War has like the connotation of immediately going directly at like the American Civil War. But I feel like in today's day and age where
it's more of a cyber thing, if anything.
Yeah, it's like a cyber Civil War. And I don't know, it's just one of those deals where people need and want to be heard.
But is it gonna get to the point where you see military troops throughout the streets and there's active fighting in our cities and shit like that?
I mean, we already have that.
Or people are gonna storm the White House and pull whatever the French Revolution guillotine some bitches.
COVID's at the White House. So.
Speaking of that, I had it pulled up earlier. The Simpsons episode. and it just crazy. I'm gonna go off on like a conspiracy theory tangent probably for a second. So the episode's titled
I'm all
Margin
for it.
Chains. It was a season 4 episode where it showed Chinese workers coughing into boxes, and it started their they call it the Osaka flu outbreak. And then at the time Trump was president, and he then later died in the episode while this virus is going on. And they also mentioned murder hornets, if anybody remembers that from a few months ago. And this isn't the
Tom
first
Hanks
like
guest starred in that episode. I know that. I remember seeing it. Like I don't
this
know
isn't
if
the
I've ever
first
watched the
time
episode,
that
but
this isn't the first time symptoms predicted stuff like this, or it showed some kind of like subliminal message. It did the same thing with 9/11, among other things. I think they even show like Bart running away from the doctor as like some kind of hinting at like a coronavirus vaccine, like we're gonna get you type deal.
yeah.
And I don't know. It's just like if Trump, this is what I'm saying. If Trump dies, like this is just the end, beginning of the end. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck happens after that?
Simpsons shit with that is just
If they
it's
predict
crazy.
that, and not the fact that Simpsons is produced by Fox and how big of a like role Fox plays, like they did the presidential debates. They're the leading like supporters in a way, or like bring together Trump supporters and like Republicans. It's very Republican based news
Platform.
outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, what's really going on? Like how I don't know. Like I said, conspiracy theory, but like Jesus Christ, how can this all just be a matter of fuck? What am I like? Chance? Like how can this just happen? Is it like,
That's crazy. Is like obviously I don't know what went on behind the scenes to come up with those storylines, but it's just kind of one of those deals where like,
how do you just make that up?
Let's talk about they let's say they don't have an ability to predict the future. They just pulled this shit out of their ass.
Yeah.
Who the hell came into the office that day and was like, "Hey man, let's record an episode." You know that guy Donald Trump.
Trump's president.
He's fucking president of the United States. And then let's do
some Asian people coughing in the boxes. People,
specifically Asians. Let's have them cough in a box, and then it's gonna spread a disease around the world. Like who the hell was like, damn dude, that's a good ass episode. Like I'd watch that shit.
And we're gonna have some murder hornets in there.
Yeah, like
and then Trump's gonna die.
Okay, and then carrying on with the people that like they have no idea how to predict the future. They just came up with that shit out of their ass. And they're just sitting at home. Trump says, "I'm gonna run for president." Like, oh fuck, no way, no fucking way. Like I said that shit, and then flash forward 2020, we have a disease. He's like, "Oh fuck, I said that shit too." Damn, like it's on us to a T. It just keeps coming out. Like I
wonder what year the episode is set in.
Season? Did you say it was season 4?
Yeah. I wonder if that's even like a part of that. But anyway, how long have we been going for now?
I don't know. I thought you were looking. Were you not looking up what?
I was trying to, but it doesn't say shit.
I have no idea how long we've been. Anyhow, I'll look real quick. But just to tie in another conspiracy theory, we've been going for almost 45 minutes. But just another conspiracy theory that ties in with the presidential election, and since we're talking about the NFL, someone just came out with a thing that since the 2000s, early 2000s, every year that there's a presidential election and the Indianapolis Colts played the Chicago Bears, whoever won was who became president, being the Bears being the Democratic nominee and the Colts being the Republican nominee. And it's held true to the 2016 election. This year, the Colts played the Bears and the Colts won which would mean that if that was a thing, that Donald Trump would win the election. And it's kind of one of those crazy ass deals where like it could just be instant, but like at the same time, like how the hell does that, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is too, where some of the wins losses against the Bears and Colts haven't been always like predicted. Like it hasn't been like, oh, the Bears are gonna come in and swamp the Colts this year. Like it's
No
been
one's really
a
an
couple of
underdog or
them,
whatever.
yeah, like a couple of them have been kind of like damn, you know.
Oh, the Colts are gonna blow them out or whatever.
Yeah, like, and then the Bears win, and it's like, oh fuck, Obama became president. Like it was definitely like every year is one of those deals where like it was either like an unexpected win by one of the teams, or they're both coming in kind of like even. Like I feel like that was kind of this year. Like the Colts haven't really been able to pick up like speed and be like a really good team, even though they have um the weapons to do that. Yeah, like I feel like they definitely have like the players to do decently. And then the Bears, you know, coming in at the time they were 3-0, but it was the Bears and they were, you know, it's the Bears. But so it's kind of one of those things where like I don't know. It's obviously a conspiracy theory, but it'll be interesting to see like if it holds true again this year.
As far as predicting the election goes, have y'all looked into like Wood County and like the weight that Wood County holds? Okay, so yeah, so Ohio is like a huge deal when it comes to presidential election. Like we're like
swing state,
one of the number one like predictors. Like,
yeah, like most of the time, whoever wins Ohio wins the presidency.
And most of the time, whoever wins, or Wood County historically has been almost like the past few elections at least. Whatever way Wood County went, like Bowling Green, like where we're all at, whatever way Wood County went is the way Ohio went. So as far as predicting the election goes, whenever we're all voting here come next month, we'll see, hopefully.
Hey, I did sign up to vote.
Hey,
I need to turn in my absentee ballot application.
Yeah, I might just go vote in person.
No, thank you.
I know. I don't.
The line. It's gonna be so.
Did you see the lines?
Fuck you, right?
Yeah.
You're right.
Toledo in Toledo, we're my friend Brian. He said lines were like around the block for voting. I mean, you can bitch as much as you want about how the fucking presidency has been, but no one has ever been this excited about voting.
Yeah, I was just saying, I feel like everybody.
But I think we've made a huge deal out of that the last few years. Like everybody go fucking vote. Like every time I open a like Instagram, Snapchat, literally any site I go onto, it's like, are you registered to vote? Here's how to register to vote. It's like, oh shit, like we're trying to make light of this.
Well, the other thing is too with the NFL, like they've had a huge campaign about not being like super political, but they've had stuff on social media and on like commercials for games and stuff about like testimonies from players about saying like it could either be just talking about the importance of voting or players saying that I've never voted before. Like I registered to vote this year because it is important and things like that. And it's just one of those deals again where people are using their platform to spread a positive message like, hey, everybody should go vote. Like, I don't know. It's just definitely, obviously, before like the last election, I wasn't really old enough. I wasn't old enough to vote, but it's definitely one of those things where I've been paying a lot more attention. But I feel like it's definitely been this last couple years, especially this last year, they've been like sharing and showcasing on the internet like how everybody needs to vote and having the resources and outlets to go register to vote. And I don't know, it's definitely been a good thing. And the fact that lines are around the corners and stuff, like I don't know, we're just bitching. I'm not standing in a line, but fuck, that just means that many people are voting.
I feel like mail-in ballots need, like, in some states, like we have no restrictions, I don't think, on like, but some states you have to have like a good reason and like bunch of proof and stuff of why you want to do it, like a mail-in ballot. It should just be very easy, and I feel like that would get even more people to vote. Hell, who the fuck? All you have to do is just stick it in your mailbox. There you go, you voted.
I mean, but then you got all the people bitching about how there's all these stories coming out about how all these votes are being lost in the mail and how
that's just fake Trump like propaganda.
I know,
because he's gonna, if everybody votes in mail on like the liberal side, I feel like he's gonna lose because he's already telling people like he would not condemn white supremacists during their debate, and he was telling them, yeah, go stand at the polar stations, go block all these other people from voting.
And
He was using
what's
fear as a
ironic
way
about that
voter
is,
suppression.
when was the last time that people did that?
Has
Like,
a president ever once said that? And the fact that he would not condemn white supremacists,
well, I'm
he wouldn't
not.
do it because I
Well, not
don't know.
exactly the president, but what I mean is, like, the last time that kind of shit happened was back with the I can't think of the words to claim to the era, but when, like, black voters in the South,
Jim Crow laws,
Jim Crow like that, I can't think of the
grandfather clauses, and shit like that. The
yeah,
weird laws that
but
would come up to keep people from voting.
that time era though, when blacks finally had the right to vote, you saw, like, people would block, like, voting places, and there would
Mhm.
just be, I don't know,
And there were
it wouldn't
like,
be safe to go vote.
I mean, it was more systematic then. Like they
Mhm.
had like literacy tests and stuff like that. But like
Our country
same
hasn't
kind of
been this
issue.
full of hate in a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe we've had this, like everyone always says, maybe we've always had this amount of hate, but it's only made like because we're all three talking right now over the fucking internet and we're not near each other. Like we haven't able
I,
to. Everybody records everything.
I feel like as far as hate goes, I feel like let's be honest, like even before Trump was around, like there was the two sides, but a
Yeah.
vocal president made a vocal America.
Yes.
Um,
Well, and a president isn't supposed to lean one side, and especially the bad side. And it's not just the fact that he's Republican. It's like you don't promote the KKK. Like
Yeah,
even if you're not president, you don't like who the fuck is doing that?
I had a thing on Facebook that I had seen that I screenshotted, and I just remembered it and found it. But it's American News. I have no idea what that is, but it's just a statement. It says, to justify slavery, we whites portrayed blacks as subhuman, primitive, stupid, and servile. To justify segregation, we whites portrayed blacks as morally corrupt, ignorant, predatory, and sinful. After civil rights, we whites portrayed blacks as evil, drug addicts, gangbangers, and welfare queens. There's never been a point in our history when we whites have systematically and institutionally valued black lives as we do our own. That's why Black Lives Matter. I just thought that was, you literally cannot think of a better summary of
Hmm.
why. Like, I I don't know.
Well,
The
like we were
fact
talking
that
about,
you can
I can't remember.
I
You
just
go.
the fact that I don't
We've
know.
done that like 4 times.
I know, but it's just like the fact that some people are, I don't know. There definitely are people that are out there that still believe and think that Black lives don't matter. But then there are the people that are like the
It's taught
basic
hatred.
Trump. Well, it's like the basic Trump supporter, but like saying just like, well, of course Black lives matter, all lives matter. And
Mhm.
I saw there was a meme, and I hate using memes to justify things, but there was a meme, and it was a big Trump boat parade in Texas, and someone had went through and vandalized a couple of the boats, and they went out into the water and they started sinking, like they had pulled like the plugs or whatever. And it was a meme, and it said that, help me, my boat is sinking. And it said, well, all boats matter. Like, why would I come save your boat? Like, all boats matter.
Mhm.
And I was just like, that is, first off, fucking hilarious. Second off, it's just it literally, again,
Well,
sums up a perfect point. Like,
and like you were saying about like the guys saying, "Oh, all lives matter," they just don't. People don't realize other people's situations or what they
mhm.
can't view of like the life this other person has lived.
mhm.
Like they think everyone's the same as them. Had this.
And like you have all these people that are bitching like I've heard like I had a rough life too, like what
Hmm.
the fuck, why did they get extra like you haven't had a rough life due to the color of your skin. Like
Yes.
Black Lives Matter is literally saying like we need to help these people because they have been at a disadvantage based
They've been
solely on this
oppressed.
one characteristic. We're not saying, oh, there of course there's white poor people, there's white people that are disabled, there's but it's Black Lives Matter is solely based on, oh, this group of people has been what's the word I'm looking for?
Like
Discriminated against, like looked down up, like for all these fucking years. Like,
and we act like it's gone away. Like it's never gone away or changed really. Like you said, we're facing the same like voter suppression. We haven't seen that since 50s and 60s, and it's happening again. So we can't say racism's gone away or changed at all. We're right back where we were 50 years ago.
It's
Nothing's
just like
changed.
it's like a new generation of it.
Yes.
Not to go on a tangent, but I just talking about this, a memory popped up in my head. One time I read, and God, it was long, but I read a whole report about a social scientist did an experiment in I think Michigan somewhere, and she wanted to see if like so I don't know. I'll just say what she did, and then you'll get the point. But she had a white male go and apply at a job. It was just like fast food, I think. And like, they'll hire anybody at fast food. They hire me. But anyhow, she had a white male go in, apply, and state like on his application and in the interview, and said that he had a criminal past. He had drug issues. He had gone to jail for a certain period of time. Just a bunch of different shit that would, compared to someone else, you would think would like pull them down. And then she had a black man go in who had perfect record, nothing ever wrong with him. Did good in school, like created like these personas for these people. Go in, apply for the job, and she did this at multiple different like places in the city, and found that it was true that a person's like background didn't play into effect when they had like
A
when
white
they
versus
were
black.
yeah. And she did if I remember correctly, she did flip it too, like black man with that, and it went the other way. Like she had like a systematic study, and it turned out to be exactly what what it is.
there's been so like I've learned about them in like classes and stuff. Like just like on like applications that you don't even have an interview, even just turning in the applications. If a name is more like culturally like black sounding, like Jamal versus a more white sounding name like John or James, whatever, employers are more likely to hire the white sounding name. And it's just like I don't know why it's so hard for people. Like, why are people arguing with science? Like,
in fact,
like these studies have been done, like they've been researched, they've been reviewed, they're in academic journals.
So it's obviously something that
you literally can't get a better source than that.
I've never seen it happen, or it hasn't happened to me, so
well,
it don't exist.
Kind of at this point, and like basically last couple points, like me and Holden talked about in the last one, just everybody being in their little bubble, their like safe place. And it's once you leave, you see the differences. It's that didn't happen back then. Like they're not wrong. I don't see that stuff. It's because you live in small town USA where the population's 99.99% white, and it's just you're stuck in that bubble. You don't see what's happening in Detroit, for instance, or Chicago. Like you don't see that shit. You only see what happens on the news, which is 9 out of 10 times not what like
they're always
really
showing
happens.
the bad shit, or the worst of every situation.
Or it could be good or bad, but it's the headline shit. It's not just living there. Like you see somebody, I don't know, I'm just gonna pull something out of my ass, like a store got robbed. Well, shit, that was pretty bad, but you don't see
it
on
probably
the news.
happened here in a small town too.
Well, you don't see on the news the black guy walking down the street got called a slur word by a white guy walking in the opposite direction, or just like minor shit, like not that that's minor, but like the small shit that's not the headline news titles or the things that make it in the newspapers or the internet, because anything,
or this
especially
person raised money for a charity and helped out their community.
Yeah,
like that's not in the news, but the headline about the bad shit's going to be in the news.
And that's the thing that, not to
or
bring
they'll
up
still cover it, it's just going to be a tiny little segment.
well, not to bring up another Joe Rogan podcast, but God, he should sponsor us. But anyhow, he talked about how like the good stuff is never in the
Mhm.
news. It's always on Facebook and shit. And it's always something that's pretty minor and it blows up and that's all you see. But
Hmm.
on the flip side, it's always the huge negative thing. Like it could be something so small. It could be a guy bought an old man lunch and they'd be like, "Oh, we have a special news story for you." And you see that shit and it's always the minor stuff. But then they don't show the minor negative things. The negative things that they show is the
Mhm.
guy that got pulled out of his car by Antifa or whatever and got beat the fuck out of or whatever, and they show that, but they don't show the 10 minutes before they were yelling the N word or like people were yelling the N word or whatever. It's just like they
One
always show
side of the
the
story.
yeah they always show the small good positive things and blow
Mhm.
it up, and they do the big things too. They just do the whole scale whether it's good. But as far as the negative things go, like the news doesn't portray what it's like to live in Chicago to people that don't live in Chicago. Like, they don't portray like the everyday life of like, do I know what it's like to live in Chicago on a day to day base? No. Like you know what I mean? Like I fucking come from a town that is 5,000 people, if. But like,
Hmm.
it's just, I don't know. It's what's wrong with that's one of the negative things about the internet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say uh, the media is honestly one of the biggest things like creating the divide
Oh yeah.
between the two. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously there'll be a divide regardless if the media even exists or not, but like they're just exacerbating the situation on literally everything.
That's funny.
We about ready to wrap this up, boys.
Yeah, we can
You
go ahead
think?
and wrap it up if you want. I'll just reiterate what I said at the beginning. Just we're live on Spotify now, so you can check us out there. I forgot my mic was far away from my face, but yeah, so just check us out on Spotify. We're on Anchor right now, and they're trying to hook us up with some other platforms. So as soon as those get out, we'll spread the news.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's basically all I got. You guys want to add anything
And we
else?
probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but I'm Devin. If y'all forgot,
Oh yeah, I guess we
you
never
know.
really. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Tom. Yeah, we'll just tie this in at the end here. I'll just put this part on YouTube. But I'm Tommy. I am also Pooh Bear 007. If you check out any of our gaming videos.
I'm Holden. I go by Holdendo. That's my gamer tag.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, Devin over there is what is a Steel
Steel
Blitz?
Blitz 7.
Yeah. Um.
So if you check out our Apex highlights, you're gonna see all the good clips are usually me. But
Yeah. Other than that, as far as YouTube goes, we're looking into diving into a little bit of Rocket League.
mhm.
So check out that
Also the
on the Twitch
Minecraft
stream
cave
soon.
update's coming out soon, so
It is
if you want
out,
to hop
isn't it,
on
Holden?
in on that.
no,
Oh,
no,
it's not out yet.
we got about a half a year. It's coming out
Oh,
summertime next
okay,
year.
okay, okay.
Uh,
We might be yeah, we're gonna be trying to soon here expand basically what we're doing. We already did with the podcast, and this is
we
going
might just
pretty
have
strong, but
one channel for a podcast and the other for our gaming, if we want to do it that
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Kind of link them
yeah.
together.
Basically just check out for more to come. Check the Twitch stream. I'll put that in the description below the
Hmm.
video. But yeah, give us a follow on all those different platforms. Thanks for the support, guys. Keep liking, spread the podcast and the YouTube channel with your friends. Other than that,
Hit
see you
that
guys.
notification bell, baby.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Leave a like while you're at it
Yeah, and you know if
and
you
a
have
comment.
any, if you yeah, I was gonna say if you have any voice comments that you want to leave at
If
the
you have
bottom
anything
of
you
the
guys
video.
want us to talk about, or
Yeah, we got a list going of some things that we're going to talk about on the podcast. But if there's anything that you guys would like to hear our opinions on, we'd love to see that. Um, and also, if you're interested in being on the podcast, we're looking to add some guests to get some other different points of views. Because one thing we want to pride ourselves on is showing all the different viewpoints about different things and trying to be unbiased with stuff. Other than that, check out for more videos to come soon.
Peace out,
peace.
y'all.